everybody. I hope we are doing well. I know we are at 5 o'clock today, but we are live. My name is Amy, and thank you for tuning in to Amy's Inspiration Station. And today we are talking Galentine cards. Hey, Saskia, I hope you are doing well. I'm really excited. So I want to know, do you happen to send Galentine cards? So instead of Valentine's, this goes to your gal pals. These go to your friends, just kind of a way to say, hi, how are you doing? And just say, hey, what's up? So I wanted to say that Angel is behind the badge today. So please give a huge shout out to Angel. And if you share this while we are live, you will be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. So thank you again so much for tuning in to Amy's Inspiration Station here on the Altenew Facebook and YouTube. So it's so nice to see you. Hey, Liz. Hi, Dawn. It's so nice to see you. Thank you. And thanks, Angel. Angel's just putting in there again that if you go ahead and share this, let us know where you shared it, and you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card. And that $15 gift card would go really, really far today because we are talking about mini but mighty. So I have 4 stamps. I actually am going to try to make 4 cards today. Believe it or not, I know it's a little bit of rush. I even have a bonus card if I can get to it. But I'm so excited to be here with you today. I would love to know, do you send Galentine cards? Is this kind of like, I feel like this is a great time to say hello and to say to those people who are in your life that you appreciate them and that you just want to say, hey, thank you for being in my life and thank you for supporting me for things. So it's so great that you guys are here. And hey, Dorothy, how are you doing? Dorothy in New York City. I'm in the Northeast. Are you also experiencing the cloudiest January on record, which is what's happening up here where we are? All right, I am going to go ahead and I am going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and point my camera down, but I would love to know. I know, Liz, I'm going to do it. Liz, I have a bonus card if I can get there for 5. We'll see if we can do it. I did prep a little bit, so I prepped some stuff. And Saskia, I know, is great at sending cards. I want to know, do you send cards to your gal pals? And do you make Galentine cards? All right, so I hope that this inspires you. And to take out those little mini stamp sets, those ones you might get as freebies, or just the ones that you're like, oh, that's so cute, but it's so small. How do I make that work on a card? What is that going to look like? And that's what we're talking about today. So I have 4 tips to make those mini stamps stand out on your card. So 4 tips for you. All right. And again, I'd love to know, do you send Galentine cards? And so again, I hope this inspires you to get out those mini stamps. Let me know. Do you like the minis? Or are you like, nope, I like the big ones, et cetera, et cetera. All right, I'm going to go ahead and point down to my desk. And these are the mini stamps that we are working with today. I love these. This is actually part of a set that came out, I think it was last January or February, and it's called All Things Handmade. And they are so super cute. Yeah, isn't it though, Liz? Go ahead. I mean, why not, right? This is your time. Oh, that's so great, Dorothy, that you guys sent. Oh my gosh, and your friends have birthdays on February 14th and 15th. That's fabulous. All right. Oh, Rena, thank you so much for sharing. And if you too can be like Rena and you can share this live while we're live, then you can be entered to win a $15 gift card. And Angel is behind the badge today. She's going to put some links in, and I'm going to show you what the heck I did. So these are the 4 cards that I played around with. And I know you're like, Amy, there's only 3 and you got 4 cards, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So one of the things that I like to do with mini stamps is I like to make a peekaboo card. These are really cute, really adorable. Absolutely, easy, super simple to do. So we're going to make a little peekaboo card with this cuddly bear. He's so adorable. And it says, much love to you for my gal pal. And then this is the sweet swans. And this is my second tip, is to have some focus blending. And if you have some focus blending, that little mini stamp is just the right amount of space for that. So I did a little focus blending. And this one is stenciling all over. And this is stenciled using the teeny heart stencil. This stencil is an oldie but a goodie. This is a cutie. 2020, not that old. So that one's a really, really adorable. So that is with the lovebirds. And I see a lot of love for the lovebirds up there. And that's Liz. Oh, that's awesome. They're using you for wedding anniversary card. That's so cute. And Dorothy, you also have the lovebirds. And yes, Mom Full of Joy, making them for your family. That's awesome. And hello, Kathleen from Melbourne. How are you doing? I hope you guys are doing great out there. And the okay, that is cute. Yes, Dorothy with the bee and honeycomb stencil. That would be cute. Now this one's not finished because I didn't love the background, but I'm gonna do better on this one. But I just wanted to show you. This actually uses another stamp, a little mini called the Raining Hearts. Here, let me put that down. This is Raining Hearts. It's absolutely cute. And I use this with some razzleberry embossing powder and also some golden peach embossing powder. And I love this die. It comes all as one, and it's called the You Are Loved die. I love it. It's really neat. And you can also cut out these words if you want them to be separate. Oh, Kathleen, of course, Kathleen, it's summer down there. Doing great. All right. And Mom Full of Joy, thank you for sharing. You too can be like Mom Full of Joy, and you could be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about what do we do with these little tiny adorable stamps. So these are the cards we're making. We're making some Galentine cards. And what I did is I already stamped out from some good, this is probably like 110-pound cardstock, some of these. So I stamped out the bear, I stamped out the little birds, and I stamped out the swans. And I used permanent black ink for that. Are you coming out with texture minis? Oh, yes. Well, yeah, the Dorothy, that's kind of the cool thing about it is by using that, and I'll show you what Dorothy was asking about, is you can have this really, really nice texture on there from all of that beautiful embossing. So I think my vision's a little bit better than what it came out. I'm going to do a better job on that one. But oh, thank you, Erica, for sharing. Oh, it's not new, Erica. You asked me if this was new. You're like, oh. No, this is from 2018. This is an oldie. There's another one that's like tiny stars, I think. There's another little tiny guy, but absolutely cute. And this would be even great on its own. For a clean and simple card, but that one is from 2018, so that's a little bit of an oldie one. All right, and thank you for sharing, Dorothy. So I suggest using the permanent black ink when I'm going to be coloring with artist markers. I have them in my little bucket over here. And I would suggest the permanent black ink because this will not run. And I actually even stamped these yesterday to make sure that ink was dry for when I am about to color with them. So that is already done. And my way that I stamp them is that I die cut them first, and then I place them in the negative space, and then I stamp them. And that's how you can make sure that you're getting that perfect outline each time. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start coloring these guys. And just to kind of give you a picture of where we're headed. So this is going to be my bear. I will do him first. All right, so that's what we're going to do with the bear. So I'm actually going to use 2 sets of artist markers, and one of them is the Delectable Delights. So this is kind of like this soft brown. You can see where the inside of this bear is. So that's the Delectable Delights. And then I'm also going to be using Coffee Break. So this is Coffee Break. So I'm pulling out Coffee Break. So we have Coffee Break and Delectable Delights. And then we have that little heart, and I'm actually going to use Tea Party for that heart. And I'm going to keep Tea Party out for a while. So yes, absolutely, Liz. That's the way to go. It's so much easier to do it that way by doing the die cut first. Because otherwise, I mean, let's face it, I'm not that great with lining all these things up. So, all right. And we're going to start with our little bear. So what I start with usually is I like to do the heart first. And when I start with coloring with artist markers, so these are absolutely super fabulous to use. And it has this bullet tip, which is great for getting into small little areas. And he's got some tiny areas. So this is the lightest one. This is Pink Pearl. Just double checking. So this is pink pearl. And if you have questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. I may be looking down, so if I miss your question, just go ahead and throw it in again. Hi. Oh, Dorothy, are we back? Are we back? I know I had a big gust of wind that came up. And Suna, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for sharing as well. All right, I'm just double checking. Can someone let me know that we are back? If I froze, did I unfreeze? Oh, good. Okay, thanks, Dorothy. Thank you. All right, so I laid down that pink, that light pink, and now I'm actually going to go with the darkest one, which is Vineyard Berry. This is like a delicious, delicious dark red. And I have the brush tip here, and I'm just going in where those areas would be the darkest, which is kind of right along where his paws would be grabbing that heart. And then I'm going to grab the next one, which is Heartbeat. And I'm just going to start to feather those in. And this is a really, really small little heart. So this, or at least, the section of the heart that's showing is not that much. So I'm just going to add a little bit of color. And then I'm going to go back in with that frosty pink, or sorry, this is pink pearl. And I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of blend all of those colors that I put down together. So there we go. We're good. All right, so that's my red. I'm going to hold on to those. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to use my coffee break. And what I like to do is I like to use the lightest just to start to map out where things are going to be. So I'm not going to do the belly or like his little nose with this, but I'm just like, where is the darkest? And even though this is my lightest one, which is sand dunes, I am going to just kind of put down, well, where would those darkest little edges be? So I'm just kind of putting down some color in the corner. Right around his little feety and a little bit up. All right, and then I'm coming up to his ear. Where his ear hits his head, I'm just going to put some color down there. And again, I'm just kind of mapping it out and getting a feel for the shape here. Hi, Brandon. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Avril. We're coloring little critters today. We're making Galentine cards. So these are some cards to send to friends for Valentine's Day, which is coming up. So I wanted to get everybody ready, give you some inspiration for using some mini stamps. And I am doing well, Brandon. I hope you are doing well too. Get some coloring in, which is the best part. All right, here's espresso. So this is the darkest of the coffee break. And now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to lay down just a tiny bit of color. In fact, I'm even kind of stippling this just because these areas are really, really small. So I just want to lay down just a little bit of color. And I'm going to use that third color, the next one I have, and I'm going to start to pull this color into the other sections. So again, just a little bit of color. And don't be afraid. We always can lighten these things up, but we're just going to have just a little bit of color. And remember, the dark shows the light. So that's okay. It's going to make sense in a little bit. And I always say it's a mess before it's a success. Yes, I know you like critters, Avril. Oh boy. All right, this is Mocha, and this is the third one. And just as a little thing, I'll show you this. I take, let's see if that, oh, there it goes. I take, in order to know what number each is, I will, I put the numbers on here. So like this is number 3, and I put, let's see if it catches that, and 4 on there. And that's how I know if I'm going up and down and etc. Ooh, at rodeo. That sounds exciting, Brandon. Oh, yes. Mom full of joy. These are adorable. You know what I actually do is I have a little book. I just got it at Michael's. It's just a watercolor paper. And I grab some watercolor pencils and I stamp these images using the obsidian ink. And then my kids color them. And they can even stamp them. That's fine. And they make little vignettes and little scenes. And then they color them. And the watercolor is easy to do. It's not going to mess anything up because I just got them like little student brushes. But it's kind of fun. And that's what I use my little critter stamps for, because they like, putting the bears down and all the kind of stuff. Hey, Kathy. Yes. Oh, and Brandon, yes, I love coloring. And I like the kids like to do that too. All right, so this is 2, and you can see I have a little 2 on there. And this one is Rocky Shore. All right, so now I'm going to start to pull that color. I'm still leaving a little bit of space just to make sure there's a little bit of white. There's not much going on up here because that is small. And now I'm going to start to get these 2 edges, I'm going to start to meet them together. Okay, and bring this down. And that's all I'm doing is I just keep taking those same pieces and just adding the next color gets a little bit more of a band. All right, so now I'm going to start with my first color that I started with. So that is the first one. Let's see if that catches it. Come on, camera. All right, there it goes, coffee break 1. And now I'm going to use this to blend all of those colors together. So now we finally have a colored bear. And he's a little stripy, so what I can do is I can go back in and go the other way and color him all in. But this lightest color we're going to use to blend all of those colors together, so he's not so stripy. And it's always nice, I didn't grab my gel pen, but there's a little gel pen that you can use if you wanted to add a little bit of white to his eyes, and or a little bit of black just to make his eyes a little bit blacker. But he stamped out pretty well. And again, this is the permanent black ink. That's the one that I like to use for coloring. All right, so now I'm going to bring his arms in. And what I'm going to do is the top part of his arms are going to be lighter, and the bottom part is going to be done. Oh, yeah, the little trouble with stamping. And that's the nice thing you can do, Mom Full of Joy, is you can actually stamp some of them and just let them color it. And that way, you don't have to buy, coloring books or anything like that. You can just use your stamps, and then they can color with that. And it's really, it's nice, kind of relaxing, fun thing to do. And hi, Nisa. And I agree, Dorothy. I love coloring. It's kind of my favorite thing to do. I actually prep some images and I bring them to meetings. My boss thinks I'm a nut, I'm kind of crazy, but it honestly helps me focus. He likes to cold call us in meetings. So I think he's always surprised when he's like, my head's down coloring, but I'm actually really listening and paying attention to him. Because I really do. I really am. All right, so I'm just going to bring this down. All right, and then I'm going to do his little feeties. So for his feeties, I want the outside. Actually, I think I want the outside to be a little bit darker. So again, I'm using this light color in order to map out where my colors are going to be. Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, and your daughters love them. They blend so well, don't they? I love using them. They're really neat. And then I like the bullet tip, which I'm going to use right here, just to add in just a little bit that's dark. I don't want to go crazy with this, but I'm just going to add just a little bit. So this is the 3. So I'm just going right around there. And now I'm going to go to 2. And this is going to go here. And I'm just going right around his toes with the 2. And then I'm going to finish up with the 1. And the 1, I'm just going to grab some of that 2 and just bring it right around. All right. And they're very, very quick. I find alcohol markers to be really, really quick to use, especially on little guys. Oh, Sharon, thank you so much for sharing this on Facebook. If you too can be like Sharon and be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew if you share this out with us. All right, so these are the Delectable Delights. And Delectable Delights, great set. I really like this one, which is the vanilla cream. And I use this a lot for critters. You're going to see me use it in the birds and other things like that. So I'm going to use this again to kind of map out what it is that I want to do and where I want to go. So I'm looking at him. This is probably going to be a little darker. We're going to be darker around here, around the feeties, and a little bit right under here is a little dark. And we're going to go into the ears and into the ears. All right. So now I'm going to grab that 4th one. And again, I label all my markers with a number, so I kind of know where I'm heading to. And I don't want too much dark because I want this to be a lot lighter because it's his belly. And I'm also, I got to do his little nuzzle up there too. So I'm just going to go right here with his little nuzzle just to bring that down. All right, so here's my 3. So now I'm going in with my 3, and I'm just going to bring this up just a little bit more. Just add a little bit more and a little bit more over the heart. All right, and then I'm going to go over to my 2, and sometimes I skip the 2. It all depends on how much space I have. Sometimes I go right to the 1. And I can layer that 1 around and make it darker if I want to do that. So I'm just kind of adding just a little bit of 2, not too much, just a little bit of 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend all that together with my 1. So I'm just grabbing that ink and moving it around. So here's my little bear. There's his little nose. And we're going to go ahead and come up here. And I actually like to go back over. For the interest of time, I'm just going to kind of keep it really, really super quick here. But I actually will go back over and do that as well. I'm going to grab a little bit of the pink pearl and just do a little bit in his ears and a little bit on his feet. And then I'm just going to blend that out with the vanilla cream. Love this vanilla cream. It's really, really useful. I like to do that a lot. Yeah, the light tummy and paw pads. I like that too. And I like the Delectable Delights because that gives you a little bit lighter. All right, so there's my little guy. So that's my bear. All right, so I'm going to move him over to the side. And now I'm actually going to do the swans. So the swans, I want to keep white. And so in order to do, to make sure, have something kind of pop out as white, you can either use a very, very light blue or a light gray. And I chose the warm gray set. And I'm actually going to start out with this darkest one, which is Lava Rock. And I'm just going to kind of look and see, okay, where is it going to be a little bit darker? And I'm going really, really conservative on this. I'm just adding a little bit of shading, just a tiny little bit, because remember, I want this to be white. So just in these little corners, I'm just adding a little bit. Nothing crazy. I'm not going nuts, just a little bit. And just, it's kind of funny, but just adding just a little bit of gray or a little bit of blue, it almost makes the white stand out. Those cuddling birds, yes, or is it tweet? That's so funny. All right, and now I'm going to grab the lightest one, which is Morning Frost, and then I'm going to start to blend these. And I'm going very, very slightly just around the edges. And again, this, because white's not white, right? White, it can be like a little gray. It can have a little tint to it. And so just by adding this little bit, that is actually going to enhance your white. And I know it seems counterintuitive, but it really does work. Okay. And all I'm doing is just going around each of these little edges. And I'm going with a little bit of a thicker line where I think it would be a little bit more of a shadow. So this is probably shadowed from him. And what's nice about doing this is that it's very, very quick. So you can really get this done very, very quickly. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I love coloring. And it's just something that I like to do a lot. I actually talk to myself when I color, which is a little odd when I do it in public, but you know, it works too. I'm going to get these beaks in, and I'm actually going to use the vanilla cream. I know you're like, but you're using a brown, but it looks so neat. And it kind of makes it like this really light orange on them. And I can actually zoom in so you guys can see where I'm heading to here. Let me zoom on in. I think I can. I might need a new battery in this. All right, it's getting there. Okay, I think that's as close as I can go. All right, So now I'm going to do this little heart. So I'm going to start out with, so I'm going to bring that tea party set back in. And this is very small. So I'm just going to do just a little bit of that darkest red. This is the Vineyard Berry. And then I'm actually going to grab the second one, which is Coral Bliss. And I'm just going to bring that down and leave a little bit of a space open so I can add in the pink pearl. And you can always go back in, which is what I'm going to do, go back in with just a little bit more red. And if you don't want to shade this because it's so small, don't shade it. It's not a big deal. Just color it in, whichever color you like. But I think the shading gives it a nice little detail. So let me show you what he looks like. So you can see just that little bit of gray just helps to kind of let that white pop out, and then a little bit of shading. All right, so that's my swan. And then my last one are these little birds. So we're going to color these birds in. And I'm going to keep the Delectable Delights out. So I'm going to grab those out because I have a little bit of a branch to do. And I'm also going to use Tropical Forest on this. And there's a little heart stamp that comes with this. And so I stamped a couple of hearts. And so I'm going to do a little heart over there as well. All right. So again, we're making Galentine cards. And these are cards that during the Valentine's holiday, you might send out to a friend, somebody that you would like to acknowledge of what they do for you in your life. And that's what we're doing. We're using these mini stamps. So a lot of us have mini stamps. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what the heck to do with a mini stamp besides just stamp it and stick it on a card. So we are going to, once I color this, we're going to make 4 cards, which I think I can do in 30 minutes. I know it's kind of crazy, but we can get it done. I think so. So I'd love to know, are you planning on sending Galentine cards? Is that something you normally do? What is it? Have you heard about Galentine cards? Let me know. All right. And we have Angel behind the badge. If you share this while we're live, you will be entered to win a $15 gift card. So let us know that you've shared this and where you have shared it to, and you will be in the running. And Angel will announce that winner at the end of our show today at Amy's Inspiration Station. And thank you for tuning in. I know we're at a little bit of a different time at 5 o'clock, but it's nice to get some crafting in, especially at the end of a long work day, that you can take some time for yourself. And I love coloring. I'd love to know who's a colorer on the go. If you are somebody who likes to color on the go, let me know. I forgot about their tails. All right, let me get the little tails down here. Okay. All right, and the Tropical Forest set, you can see how pretty it is. The last one here, which is bamboo, is just this gorgeous bright green. And you can see how nicely it brightens up these little birds. And there's some leaves on this branch, and so I'm doing that as well. Oh, that's great, Sharon, that you send out Galentine cards every year. That's great. I just started doing them last year and sending them out, but I really enjoy, making and sending cards, of course, which is why we do this. All right, so I'm just going to do the little tails here. And I'm actually going to use the vanilla cream on their feet. So I'm just going to get a little feeties in here. And I'm also going to use it on their beaks. And I'm actually going to use it on their bellies. And you can see how pretty. So even though this is technically in that brown set, I love it. It's such a pretty color. Oh, on Monday, I think we're back at 3:30 on Monday. I'm not sure who is on Monday, but we are definitely here Mondays and Thursdays. And I am just adding a little bit of this pink pearl in, and I'm actually going to add it right to the top of the little beaks. And I'm going to take that Delectable Delights and I'm going to blend that pink pearl up. I'm going to leave a little bit of white right at the top, but I'm just going to blend that. And that's the great thing about these markers, in particular the artist markers and then alcohol markers, is just how how easily they blend with each other in there. I did not, Brandon. And oh, thank you so much, Angel. Cobwebs on my car again. Home office. I know, Nisa. Oh, really, Yara? First year. I hope this inspires you to send some things out. And I did not do that, Brandon, to watch Dana Kay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this branch in. So I'm going to start with the darkest of the Delectable Delights and just go right around where the feeties are. And you can see I'm not trying to attack, go all the way with the brown. I just want to go right around feeties. And I'm just going to go right in this little nook where that little junction is. And then I'm actually going to jump down to the 2 because this is such a small space and start to blend that branch out. I'm going to leave a little bit of white so that way I can come in with my lightest color and just blend everything in. So you can see I'm coming in. It still have some little space. So then I'm going to grab my Delectable Delights. And that's the lovely thing about this color set. If I had to pick one, I think this is one of my favorites. And it is really, really versatile to use. So there's our little birds. And I'm going to go ahead and put these back, clean up my space. Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Shannon. Well, Brandon, on the Altenew channel, we actually don't have, we're not on Tuesdays, excuse me. But that might be on a different channel that somebody's out there. All right, so here is my heart. I'm just going to quickly do this heart. And I'm going to start again with that vineyard berry and go right in. But on the Altenew channel, we are live on Mondays and Thursdays. And on the Instagram, on the Altenew Instagram, Lydia is live on Wednesdays. So that's another place if you're looking for some more inspiration. That's what I love about Altenew as well, is there's so many ways to have inspiration. All right, so what we just did. So we're using these mini stamp sets, and we just colored our little birds. So that one's ready to go. We got our swans for our focused blending, and we have our little bear. I know you're like, but Amy, where'd the bear go? There he is, peekaboo. And we're going to make a little peekaboo card. So we're going to do this one first. And this is really easy to do. So let me get these guys moving so I don't lose them. That's the worst part, right? You just colored them all and then you lose them, which is not good. All right, so I'm going to grab my embossing machine and bring that over. And I'm going to grab a card. So this is a card front that I made from a good sturdy piece of cardstock. So this is 110 pound cardstock. It's already been scored. And what I'm going to do with this, let me just back up a little bit so you can see what the heck is going on. And again, if you're just joining us, we are making Galentine cards. We are making some Galentine cards. Sorry about that. Zooming. And I am using some mini stamp sets in order to do that. All right, so I'm going to get this all set up. And whenever you do this, you need to make sure that you open up your card front, or else you're going to be cutting through both of them, which is not what we're looking to do today. All right, so I'm just trying to find the best place on my card to put my little bear. And I want him to be front and center and kind of equidistance between both sides. And I'm going to put down a piece of tape. And I'm going to double check him off camera. All right, he looks good. Okay. Open up your card, run that through, and you just made a peekaboo card. Oh my gosh. And that's it. And that's what I love to do with these little mini stamp sets, because it's really neat and it kind of packs a big surprise when you look at that all told. And then you have this little extra bear that you can color in from this. So here is my card. And I'm just going to pop this out. And once I have him all done, I can take the bear that I colored. I'm actually going to put some of this adhesive. You can use liquid adhesive, dry adhesive. This is a really, really fabulous dry adhesive. And I'm just going to put him in. He's a little crooked, but that's okay. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and drop him in. And once he's there, we now have a little peekaboo card. And the sentiment on this is really cute. It says, "Much love to you." So I'm going to take this and just put this on a stamping block. And if you're a little nervous, that's okay. You can use, your stamp positioner. But I'm just going to go ahead and put this. I just line it up on my mat. And then I just put my stamping block right on top of it, making sure that that is lined up. And then I'm going to use the best black ink there is, which is the Obsidian Pigment ink. And I'm just going to go ahead and ink that up. And you want to be careful. You don't want to smush these down because this is a very, very fine line. And I'm just going to look up and over just to make sure I'm right below him and straight. And I just count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And lift right up. And there we have our card. And that one is so nice. Oh, thank you so much, Angel, for putting that on. I really appreciate it. And clever. Oh, thank you so much, Vicki. And thank you for being here today as we're making Galentine cards and looking at little mini stamps. So that's one way to use your mini stamp, is to make a peekaboo card. So that was one. All right. So our second one that we're looking at is, I call it focused blending. Very, very simple to do. So we have our swans. I'm just going to grab a sheet. Now, I cut all of these down to 5 1/4 by 4. And that's just to make sure that when I line everything up, I kind of know where I'm going. And I'm going to grab some satin tape. And I am going to be using, I use the purple, the rose petal. I like these purples with it, but I think the other red that I love to use is Tea Party. So those are kind of my choices for that. Now this tends to shift on me. So what I do is I just kind of take a corner and just get this right on my mat. And then I'm just going to grab some pieces of satin tape. And this I've already used. And you just line this up with my grid. And I'm kind of looking for about thirds. That's too low. And that's how I can make sure that that line is nice and straight all the way across. And it's semi-straight on that side. There we go. And then I'm going to grab another piece. Oh, Galentine's cards. I don't know. I think it's just a fun way to say that you're going to send a Valentine to your gal pals. So instead of Valentine's, it's Galentine. And I'm going to line this up with my swan just to make sure that it fits, and that's looking pretty good. And then the tools that I like to use, because I want a soft blend, and these are the small ink blending tools. Yeah, right? Oh, those are adorable and tiny. Yes. And these, like I said, so we got, I'm showing you kind of 4 ways to do this. I actually think I'll use the purple again. All right, so I'm going to do, I'm actually going to do an ombre blend. So I'm actually going to start out with the Cosmic Berry, and I'm starting darkest to lightest. And I'm just starting on my tape and just adding in some ink. And what I like about the small blending tools is they're not super compacted. So it kind of gives you this really pretty soft blend. And I have a paper over to the side. And I'm just going to go ahead and just wipe off that excess ink before I go to my next one. So now for the purple wine, I'm actually going to start on the tape again and go up and over the Cosmic Berry, just so I can draw that ink up. And if you're afraid you're going to come here, then just put a piece of scrap paper on the bottom. But I tend to be pretty careful as I'm doing this. All right, so you can see we have that nice, pretty blend. Okay, Brandon. Hopefully we'll see you Monday. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely, Sharon, that, it's nice to kind of tell your friends that they're loved and you're thinking about them. And it's nice to get those cards, I have to say. It's really super nice to get those cards. All right, so that's Puffy Heart, and then I'm going to add in the Rose Quartz. And Rose Quartz, I'm actually going to go top down. And this way, because this is a very, very light pink. So I'm going to go top down. And I think this would also look really pretty with the Tea Party, with the red. But I like it with the purple too. All right, so now, and this is really super easy, we're going to take that same stamp block, which I have, and I'm going to grab, there's this little sentiment called You and I, and that's on this swans. I think it's really sweet, and I thought it would be nice as a Galentine's card. And I'm going to do the same thing again, just put this right on my mat, and it is tiny, and I'm just going to pick it up right there and use my Obsidian ink, beautiful ink. This is perfect. And I'm just going to stamp this, and I'm just going to stamp it right above, somewhat in the middle, right above my tape. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm not pressing too hard. And that is that. So, okay. All right. Thanks, Dorothy. And we have that. And I love this satin tape. I'm going to reuse it again. I'm keeping it right over to the side. I'm not throwing it in the trash because I can reuse it and reuse it and reuse it. And you can see what a beautiful blend you get. And so now I can take my swans. I'm going to use that same tape. And I can put them right down. And there's my swans. And this is really nice because it gives these little mini stamps this focus. So that's my focus blending card. So, oh yes, that's beautiful with your embossing blending photo. And again, it gives you that nice little focus. So it's a little simple, but really impactful, I think, with that. All right, so that's our second one. So the third one is going to be using the parrots and the stencil. So here's my parrots. So I'm going to just clean up my little area. And it's a little hard to tell on this, but I actually tried to do a little ombre stenciling. And I used the small ink blending tool. And I think I'm going to switch over to the mini. I think I'm going to switch over to the mini on this one. And here's the difference between the two. So here's the mini and here's the small. And this one is just really compacted, so it's going to get a lot of ink down, whereas these bristles move a little bit. And I love this for those soft ink blendings. But this one, I think I'm going to use the mini. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing where I just kind of put my card base down, and I'm just going to use a little bit of tape to stick it on. And I just kind of hold my stencil, but if you want to use a little bit of tape, just grab a little tape and you can just get your stencil down. Now, what I want to do is like think about, okay, where the heck is my little parrot going to go? And they're going to go right here. So I'm actually going to make this my darkest area, and then I'm going to go from dark to light. So I'm going to blend out in a circle. Thanks, Saskia. I love the purples, and I feel like they don't get enough love, you know? These are really, really gorgeous. And I love this rose petal. Such a pretty thing. All right, so I'm going to have my little guys here. So this is where I'm going to start with that cosmic berry. And again, I'm getting down a lot deeper color because I'm using the little mini brush versus the small ones. So if you're looking at, oh, which brushes should I get? The answer is all of them. But in terms of how you're using them, you really want to think about what's your end result and what you want to go. All right, so now I'm going to pull that purple wine in, and I'm going to go in another circle out. And you can see I'm kind of pulling some of that color in, and there's all this gorgeous color on here too. And I'm trying not to go too much because I do want to fit in some other colors, because I got 4 colors that I want to throw in here. All right, so here's Puffy Heart, just kind of inking off. You can't see me do this, but over on the side, I'm just pulling that color off. All right, and here comes Puffy Heart. Oh, beautiful, beautiful pink. And I want to keep that outside for my lightest one. so I can kind of have this circular ombre. All right, and then my last one is the rose quartz. Okay, so here we are, just double checking because I slipped that. And now I'm just looking to see, okay, what didn't I put in yet? So these should be my lightest ones. These are all the way out. What's neat too about the this stencil is there's a lot of space in between these hearts, and you could actually turn this and fill this in with even more hearts if you wanted to. So now you can see that ombre that we have. So it starts in this dark area and then moves out to the light. And that's with that rose petal ink. All right, so I'm going to grab my little guys, and I'm not going to puff these guys up. I want to keep them right here. So I'm making them flat. I'm going to grab this little heart, and I'm actually going to put it in between the two of them. So it looks like they're holding on the little heart together. So cute. And then I want to use this. So I'm going to talk to you about what I did here. So this is the Much Love to You, which is the same one we used on the bear. But what I did is I used the Featured Sentiments die set. If you don't have this, this is fabulous. I love this. It works awesome just about with any. I don't think I found a sentiment except for the super huge ones that it doesn't work with. But it works great with the simple sentiments. I think we have 3 sets of those now. So what I did is I grabbed this little one, which is kind of the bigger one, but small. And I just cut out a piece of paper, and then I stamped Much Love to You on it. And I'm going to use the Instant Dimension tape. And I just take this and I measure. In fact, let me grab my tweezers. I measure how long it is on my tape. You can't see this. I measure how long it is on my tape, and then I cut half. So I'm not going to cut the whole thing because I got to cut my tape in half. All right. Oh, Tracy, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. And let's see. Kathy. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here tonight. And I agree, Liz. I love blending. Blending is so easy. It's so easy to get some nice color down really, really quickly. All right, and if you've just joined us, we are doing Galentine's cards, and we are using mini stamp sets. So giving you some inspiration on how to use mini stamp sets. All right, so I'm just going to turn this over and put my Instant Dimension foam tape, and I obviously cut a little too much, and that's okay. Because I save this and use it for other projects, of course. You should see my mini blossom because all of this goes on top of my mini blossom. And this just gives it just a little bit of dimension. And I love the height of this because it's not too poofy, and it works great in mailing. And then this is going to be that little branch. Now over here, I kind of inked it up with the puffy heart, but I think I'm going to keep this plain this time. And it just looks like they're sitting on this branch. And that's Much Love to You. So that's our third one. So we're talking how to use mini stamps. And so this was one of them with a stencil background. And you can see that grounds our little parrots. We talked about focus blending. And this one, we made a little peekaboo card. All right. So the fourth one, what I'm going to do is use Raining Hearts. And what I want to do here is I'm actually going to grab my stamp positioner. And I'm actually going to emboss this with raspberry. Razzleberry. It's not raspberry. I know it says raspberry on there, but it's not raspberry. It's razzleberry. And peach. So. Oh, that's great, Mom Full of Joy. You just started ink blending last year. Check out, if you haven't looked at these brushes from Altenew, they are fabulous. I cannot say I was in search of the best brushes, and I think they hit a home run. And I know I'm, promoting Altenew, but I really say that as a customer and as a client. I really say, thanks so much, Dorothy. I think they're really cute. I love these. You know, I love using little mini stamps, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in just a second. All right, so I want to say, just preface this by saying that I have on my stamp positioner, I have some sticky pad, and that's what's going to kind of help me a lot here. All right, so I am going to use embossing ink. I'm just kind of pushing everything out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And our goal, what we're trying to go with here, is I'm actually going to take my stamp and I'm going to stamp it 3 times. So this is repeat stamping. And then I'm going to flip it and I'm going to stamp it 3 times up here. And then I'm going to heat emboss it with a little bit of golden peach in the middle and with the razzleberry on the edges. All right. And I can do this in 9 minutes. And this stamp, this little raining hearts, oh my gosh, how cute. How adorable. All right, so I know you might not be able to see this, and I'm going to start in the middle because I know that in the middle, this is, all of that's going to work. So I know I want to be there, and then I can move my card over one or the other. And I apologize because I know you're going to be looking at this for a minute and being like, yeah, that's great, Amy. I cannot see anything. I know you can't see it. That's okay. We're going to get there. I promise. And I think this little raining heart stamp is nice too, if you just wanted to use it as is. All right, so I know you can't see it. I know you're looking at it going, yep, I can't see that, but that's okay. All right, it is right here at this edge. And I think my thing, yesterday I did it with a stamp and not the stamp positioner, so it came out a little funky on that, but this is the idea. All right, and I'm just going to move it over to the other side. I don't trust moving my paper, so I'm better with just moving the stamp. And I can see the outline, and I can even tilt this in just to see where I last put those things. And there we go. All right, so now this side's all done. So after I finish this, I'm going to put it in. Did you really, Tracy? And Angel is behind the badge, and as we are wrapping up, she will be the one picking the winner for our $15 gift card from Altenew. So please make sure that you get in, that you have shared this live while we're live. And make sure you say hi to Angel, as she is working hard behind the badge today, putting in all of these fabulous products that we're using to make Galentine's cards. And I'd love to know if this has helped you in using up those little mini stamp sets or thinking about different ways to use them. And we've talked about using them with a stencil. This is repeat stamping, making a peekaboo card, and also using focus blending. All right, that's going to go right there. Okay, a little bit of this is blind faith, but we'll be okay. All right, now, moment of truth. So when I have something like this that I'm about to use 2 types of embossing powder on, I first grab my trusty paper, and I do like to use tweezers to hold everything. So I'm actually going to start in the middle, and this is golden peach. Gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful pink. And I'm just going to focus that right in the middle and then just let that slide off. All right, how'd I do? Not so bad. Now I have it kind of clumped, so I can come in and I can grab, and that's just because I used a little bit of stuff there. So this did not come out the way I wanted it. But I'm just going to go ahead and unclump some of that. There we go. Again, just unclumping. And I may have pressed down a little bit too hard. All right, so that is my golden peach. So I'm going to put that away. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use razzleberry on the edges. So I'm going to grab my piece again, and I'm going to use razzleberry on the edges. So wrapping up. Don't worry, Saskia. If you have any questions, you always can reach me. I'm on the Facebook fan site a lot, so you'll be able to see me there. Or, of course, you can always email customer service at Altenew, and they are super fabulous about answering any questions that you have. And we were just talking about how Altenew is really, really super fabulous with giving you a ton of inspiration. So please make sure you're signed up for the newsletter. The always has announcements of things. We have a retreat coming up in March, and there's always classes on Altenew Academy. There's so many great things that they do. All right, so that is pretty good. All right, so I'm just going to take a second, and I am going to, so that's the raspberry. And those raspberry, it's like, it's really beautiful color. I don't use it enough, but it's really gorgeous. And so you can see with the repeat stamping, you really get this nice awe. I even will do that with the critters where I'll stamp them in gray and then have like one focus stamping that's in color. And that's nice to do. And you can make your own background with it. And this raspberry is just, oh, it's gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful color. So I'm going to pair this with the You Are Loved die. And I'm going to show you what I did with that in just a moment once I get this all heated up. And you can even, I know it's hard to see with the embossing powder, but if you wanted to be even more careful, I could stamp this using the obsidian black. And that will allow me to see where I'm stamping. And I can also emboss with that. And then you're not going to know that it's black because the embossing powder will take care of that. Yeah, Mom Full of Joy. It's really nice to do and unclumpy. I'm glad, Saskia. We're teaching English here in addition to crafting. Oh, and yes, Tracy, Angel and Han, the best. And Angel is behind the badge today. And if you share in the next couple of minutes, you'll be entered to win our $15 gift card to Altenew. And I'm just double checking that I did a good job or close to a good job on that. And so you can see you have this space here where it's peach and this gorgeous space where it is the raspberry. All right, so I'm just going to show you something really quick. This is such a cool die. It's one die. This is the You Are Loved die. And I already took a moment to cut this out of just a nice, good piece of 110 cardstock. And I also cut out a shadow from black. And I'm going to take my small blending brush, and I'm actually going to do the same thing that I did before and just blend this color. And I'm just going to go ahead and just put down some great color. Make sure that your heat tool is away from your arm so you do not burn yourself while it is cooling down. And this is going to be very, very similar to how I did this before, and making sure that I leave enough room to show that graduation of color. And I'm going to go right on top of that cosmic berry with the purple wine. And oh, this is great. I'd even go over this twice just to really, and then I would actually hit this with the iridescent spray from Altenew, which would give it even more shine and just be really, really pretty. I just didn't grab that off my shelf before I started today. Now, again, for the last one, for this rose quartz, I'm going to start from top and go down because I want to keep this as light as possible. Okay. So now that I have that ink blended, I'm just going to take my pokey tool. Oh, I'm so glad, Patricia. I'm so glad. It's sometimes, you know, we kind of focus on like the big florals and watercoloring the big florals. And those mini stamps, they really should be getting a lot of love because you can use them. They're so versatile and you can use them in a lot of different ways. And I'll show you, I'll recap everything that we've done here today. Isn't that just pretty? Isn't that pretty? Oh, it's gorgeous. And when you put it with the black shadow, I just want to put these together to show you. It really makes that pop. Doesn't that look cool? And so when I do that, all I'm doing is I'm just taking that black, and instead of putting it right on top of each other, I just kind of switch it over. Just kind of swoosh it over just to give it a little bit of shadow. And you can put it down. You can put it up. You can kind of finagle. Do you want it to the right? Do you want it to the left? I always tend to put my shadow on the left side. I don't know why. And then you just glue that down. And on top of this card base, let me just show you. So even though I have that little bit of that patchiness with the golden peach, because this is so big, and then you have that shadow, that just pops right off. Oh, thank you so much, Angel. Isn't this, I mean, I love it. And I think that this is a great way to use this die in particular. It's such a nice big bold die and it needs a nice big background. And I think having that raining hearts and that repeated stamping with that raspberry is just absolutely gorgeous on it. And I love it with that golden peach because I think all raspberry would just be a little too much. All right, so let me show you what we did today. And if I make my bonus card tonight, I will pop it into the Altenew fan group, Facebook group. All right, so we talked today about using a stencil, and this was the Teeny Hearts stencil, and that is with the parrots. So with us tiny stamps, we talked about repeat stamping, using a stencil, and that grounding that little image. And we talked about having that focused blending. So there's our swans. And then our last one, we talked about making a peekaboo. So there we go. Little peekaboo card for you. So cute. And a nice space to put your messages down. All right, so I want to thank you guys so much. And yes, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification button. Thank you, Kathleen. That is fabulous. I just want to give a huge shout out to all of you who made some time today to hang out with us and tune into Amy's Inspiration Station. And a huge thank you to Angel, who was behind the badge today and did a super fabulous job keeping up with me on all of the stuff. And I'm so glad you guys liked the mini stamps and the Galentine cards. And I hope that these inspired you to grab those mini stamps and think about using them as peekaboo cards, as some, pairing them up with your stencils, have that focus blending, and doing some repeat stamping. And I wanted to wish you guys a huge, have a great weekend. And I will show that embossing a little bit closer. I apologize, Mom Full of Joy, that I did not see yours. And that is what we did. So I'm a little patchy, so I'm going to start again. But that section came out really, really nice. And I think I probably could heat that up a little bit. But that is our embossing right there. So I'm going to retry that one again. Third time's the charm on that. So I wanted to say thank you guys so much. And I hope you guys have a fabulous day and stay inspired. And thank you again for tuning in. All right, you have a fabulous day. Thank you.